everyone, Skag here. Today we're going to jump into a quick video doing some analysis on Bitcoin, giving you guys an update to the market cycle and where I believe we are and what I expect going forward. So let's jump right into this, guys. We're going to take a look quickly at this weekly time frame. The thing I want you guys to note here is that we are trading with inside of a range after a beautiful move up from the accumulation down at the 3,000 levels. So basically what we're looking at here is the potential for a re-accumulation range. Right, we had a strong accumulation down at the bottoms here at the lows, strong push up, broke a bunch of market structure to the left, right? We broke above all these levels over here after breaching the highs of about 11,600, 700. And now we've been kind of just stuck within this range for a few weeks. And, it is my belief that this is a reaccumulation cycle, and we will see a continuation of the move up from here. But we need to get the timing right in terms of this range and kind of monitor it closely as we test the lows of it, as you can see here, which is why I wanted to bring it to your attention. So let's drop this down to a daily time frame real quick, and let's take a look. So as many of you that are in my Telegram channel know, that I sent an alert earlier in the week saying to watch the 93.75 level on Bitcoin, which you can see we very recently came down and tapped. So that's mostly why this is capturing my attention as we test these liquidity levels down here. Now, the basis for the 93.75 test was a slip of this support here while holding the old market structure at this level. So this was just an area of interest for liquidity. We did get that tap, and now we are looking for potential bounces. A few things that I want you guys to note about this range are the volume levels that are happening as we make these moves down. So real quick, as you guys can see, this move that we've recently made down to that 93.75 level was of course done on lower volume than we've seen at other points in the range, right? You can see this move down here with the higher volume. Right, this move down into support with about the same volume, if not a little bit less. And then, of course, you have these bigger waves down, which started the range, which are, of course, higher volume moves. So we can see that sellers are getting less and less interested as price kind of moves down into these levels, which really interests us, gives us, potential areas of opportunity to use that seller exhaustion for our interests of looking at potential buy areas. Now, the reaction from 93.75 hasn't been all that strong. We haven't really, made a major move back up yet, and the bullish volume hasn't specifically kicked in. So it is possible that we do see tests back down to this liquidity, possibly even under these levels here. So let's just keep that in mind as we are looking forward. Even though we are, anticipating a potential bounce, we do want to note that the buyers have not seen an uptick in volume yet on this daily range. That is our going forward expectation, is that we will, pretty soon see one, but it doesn't mean that just because we tapped this level that we're immediately going to just start taking off. All right, these cycles take a little bit of time to play out. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop this time frame down a little bit, go down to the 2-hour time frame. And we're going to just take a look at kind of what's happening within this. Actually, maybe let's drop this down a little bit more. All right, so let's get the 30-minute range. Now, if we're looking at this again from a Wyckoff standpoint, right, obviously we have our PSY over here, right, preliminary support, preliminary supply. We have our selling climax here, AR at the top with the automatic rally, and then we have our STs down here. Right, and from the ST we get a nice push to the upside, right back to the top of the range, which we can mark off real quick for you guys. Right, tops and bottom of the range, the bottom's already marked. And then we came down and we formed this spike here, right? So we kept market structure intact, hit a nice little area of liquidity. Now, again, guys, we can overall expect this range to potentially spring, right? So one thing that we have in mind, potential spring. This is always a possibility. Honestly, this is what we'd mostly want to wait for, The thing is, I'm a little bit bullish on this early on, as we did attempt to come down lower and we hit an area again of liquidity, right? We have this market structure pull back low, which again is just a minor structure low, and then this wick here. So we did test with inside the liquidity here, and we seem to be kind of moving up off this level. Now, I'm not expecting it to just break out. Now, we are long on certain pairs, and I did take a Bitcoin buy down here just in case the market does want to continue up with inside the channel that we're trading in, which I'm going to mark for you guys right now. But it is my belief that we could potentially see a spike down outside of this range to form a spring. So for those of you that are not in a trade, that are looking for a trade, whether it's going to be, this upcoming week or even possibly next week, these are areas that you're going to want to mark off as potential buy areas. Again, just down to the 94.50 area would be a good spot to look. Realistically, we wouldn't want to see that, as it could mess with our XRP longs. For those of you that are, again, in my Telegram channel that are looking to ride those buys long term. Now, we currently do have our stops at break even on that, so even if this does happen, we're not going to be taking much of a risk in terms of a loss. We would just be jeopardizing profits that we're in. But based off what I see this morning, the fact that we're still trading with inside this accumulation channel, it is possible that this is an accumulation range that just does not see a spring. All right, and we just actually get an LPS here and then a secondary LPS here. Now, to confirm this, we would have to see a strong push up above the supply, and we would want to break out above the 97.50 area. Now, that being said, if that is something that we get, and we do get that strong push up for some circumstance, I would expect exhaustion to happen here, and I would expect price to fade back off into the range and probably capture the liquidity that's down here that we're waiting for. So if that is the case, I will make another video and update you guys, and we will try to grab another entry after it comes back down into the range. But for those of you that are actively trading with me, you should know that we're already at break even. We have no risk in these markets, and we will continue to wait. Now, if we get what we're looking for, and we get the LPS, and we kind of shoot up and give us that sign of strength, we're going to have to assume that this is going to be the low of our range with the breakout of our range, and then back to the LPS. And we can expect targets somewhere upwards of just above 10,000 for first term targets. And then if we zoom out on this a little bit, and we grab our second and third term targets, which would be in 10.5 and about 10.9 thousand dollars on Bitcoin USD. Now again, guys, that doesn't bring us all that far outside of the re-accumulation, right? That's just a leg up in the accumulation. So with that being said, even if you do get that, again, we're not going to be breaking out of the long-term weekly range. This is going to take a little bit more time to play. I still believe we have that one upward move that we're looking for now, and then pullbacks further back down towards that accumulation that we're going to rise from. So again, guys, this is just a quick update based off what we see this morning. For those of you, again, that are in the XRP trade that we're trading with, we do have positions down at this test here that we're holding at break even. Now, the reason why we're in the XRP, again, guys, weekly time frame, we're just looking at, the weekly wick fills that are down here, potentially for the long side. XRP itself, we're not expecting the XRP Bitcoin chart to really be fully ready to go. We do have a case for accumulation down here that I will make a different video on as that plays out, but we're technically just kind of betting on the Bitcoin USD price to rise and bring altcoins with it. So with that being said, guys, again, let's look at these levels going forward, the areas of liquidity down here, or after we get the sign of strength, we will look for an entry back inside the range. Thank you for joining me, and we will be updating this analysis as it goes on.